All right, so we are on the fourth and most exciting book of Tale of Despero, and this one is titled Recalled to the Light. This is the longest of the books, but it is definitely going to be a really good one. I'm actually really excited because the next chapter is really, really good. I read ahead a little in case you were wondering, because I was just curious what would happen. So, Chapter 34, Kill 'em, even if they're already dead. Reader, did you not forget about our small mouse? Back to the light. That was what Gregory whispered to him when he wrapped Despero in his napkin and placed him on the tray. And then Midge, after her conversation with Roscuro, carried the tray into the kitchen, and when she saw Cook, she shouted, "It's me, Midgery Sow, back from the Deep Downs." "Ah, lovely," said Cook. "Ain't we all relieved?" Midge put the tray on a counter. "Here, here," said Cook, "your duties aren't done. You must clear it." "How's that?" shouted Midge. "You must clear the tray," shouted Cook. She reached over and took hold of the napkin and gave it a good shake, and Despero tumbled out of the napkin and landed right directly, plop, in a measuring cup full of oil. "Ah," said Cook, "a mouse in my kitchen, in my cooking oil, in my measuring cup. You, Midge, kill him, directly." Midge bent her head, and she looked at the mouse, slowly sinking to the bottom of the glass cup. "Poor little Missy," she said, and she stuck her hand into the oil and pulled him out by his tail. Despero gasped, coughing, and blinking at the bright light. He could have wept with joy at his rescue, but he was not given time to cry. "Kill him!" shouted Cook. "Course," said Midge. "All right." Holding Despero by the tail, she went to get the kitchen knife, but the mouse's tail was covered in oil, so it was slick and difficult to hold on to. And Midge, in reaching for the knife, loosened her grip, and Despero fell to the floor. Midge looked down at the little bundle of brown fur. "Gor," she said, "that killed him for sure." "Kill him, even if he's already dead," shouted Cook. "That's my philosophy with mice. If they're alive, kill 'em. If they're dead, kill 'em again. That's how you can be certain of having yourself a dead mouse, which is the only kind of mouse to have." "That's some good philosophy. That is, killing 'em even if they're already dead." "Hurry, you cauliflower-eared fool," shouted Cook. "Hurry!" Despero lifted his head from the floor. The afternoon sun was shining through the kitchen window. He had time to think about how miraculous the light was, and then it disappeared and Midge's face loomed into view. She studied him, breathing through her mouth. "Little Missy," she said, "ain't you gonna be skedaddled?" Despero looked for a moment into Midge's small, concerned eyes, and then there came a blinding flash and the sound of metal moving through air as Midge brought the kitchen knife down, down, down. Despero felt a very intense pain in his hindquarters. He leapt up and into action. Reader, he scurried. He scurried like a professional mouse. He zigzagged left and right and zigzagged again. "Gor," said Midge, "I missed him." "Ain't that a surprise," said Cook, just as Despero scurried under a crack in the pantry door. "I got a little Missy tail, though," said Midge. She bent over and picked up Despero's tail and held it up, proudly displaying it to Cook. "So?" shouted Cook. "What will that do us when the rest of him has disappeared into the pantry?" "I don't know," said Midge, and she braced herself as the cook advanced on her, intending to give her a good clout to the ear. "I don't know." By the way, here is Despero losing his little tail. Chapter 35, The Knight in Shining Armor. Despero was pondering the reverse of that question. He was wondering not what he would do with his tail, but what he would do without it. He was sitting on a bag of flour high atop a shelf in the pantry, crying for what he had lost. The pain in his hindquarters was intense, and he wept because of it. But he also cried because he was happy. He was out of the dungeon. He had been recalled to life. His rescue had happened just in time for him to save the Princess P from the terrible fate that the rat had planned for her. So Despero wept with joy and pain and with gratitude. He wept with exhaustion and despair and hope. He wept with all the emotions a young mouse, who had just been sent to his death and then delivered from it in time to save his beloved, can feel. Reader, the mouse wept. And then he lay down on the sack of flour and slept. Outside of the castle, the sun set and stars came up one by one, and then they disappeared and gave way to the rising sun, and still Despero slept. And while he slept, he dreamt. He dreamt of the stained glass windows and the dark of the dungeon. In Despero's dream, the light came to brilliant life in glorious shape of a knight's swinging sword. The knight fought the dark. And the dark took many shapes. First, the dark was his mother, uttering phrases in French. And then the dark became his father, beating the drum. And the dark was Furlough, wearing the black hood and shaking his head no. And then the dark became a huge rat, a smiling rat that was evil, smiling a smile that was evil and sharp. The dark, Despero cried, turning his head to the left. The light, he murmured, turning his head to the right. He called out to the knight. He shouted, "Who are you? Will you save me?" But the knight did not answer him. "Tell me who you are," Despero shouted. The knight stopped swinging his sword. He looked at Despero. "You know me," he said. "No," said Despero, "I don't." "You do," said the knight. He slowly took the armor off, and the head revealed nothing. No one. The suit of armor was empty. "Oh, no, no," said Despero. "There is no knight in shining armor. It's all just make-believe, like happily ever after." And in his sleep, reader, the mouse began to cry. And that's the end. We're going to be reading the next 2 chapters next week. And I'm excited to say that the story gets even better from here. So, see you next time.